Hello, it's Mark again, coming to you from my studio in Wokingham in Berkshire, which was sunny a little while ago, but it's clouded over now. I'm going to do sunflowers today, and some of you probably have already done those, but we've put together a little kit which really gives you all the colours you need, which is your brown and black for the centres, the two yellows for the actual petals, some green for our leaves, and some floating medium, but only if you're working on a porous surface like the paper that I'm going to be using. Okay, just get the paints out of the way. Now I'm assuming that you've already got brushes, but if you haven't, this set is a really good set to buy, because it has the scruffy brush, which is a 1/2 inch scruffy in this set, a 3/4 which is great for the leaves, the number 12 for the sunflower petals, and a script line which we don't really need for sunflowers, but depending if you're going to add some detail, then sometimes the script liner can be useful as well. But these are all nice quality brushes that Donna has made for her. Okay, now Donna's also done some wonderful recipe cards, which are kind of like a mini worksheet pack, and this one gives you some different styles of leaves and sunflowers. This is our original one-stroke sunflower, which is the one I'm going to be doing. But then if you want to start making it a bit more stylized and some contemporary, then you've got instructions to make this type as well. And so Donna tells you all the colours you need and everything, but we can use the same basic colours for all of these, those two yellows for the petals and the brown and the black for the centre. Okay, and it has a plastic cover on it so that you can practice your strokes as you go. Now, when you've completed your practice, and if you want to change to the enamels paints, they're great for painting on glass and ceramics, and so you can paint something like that. I've added the bee to this one because I kind of think he's cute with our strokes, and it's important when you're loading your brush for sunflower, you want to get the yellow ready in the brush first. Now I just want to go through some practice strokes with you, and I picked green because I kind of like the way the yellow looks on the green. Now with our one stroke petals and leaves, traditionally we've always gone straight. If we're going to do a leaf, we'll start straight, push down, push, turn and lift up to a point. Okay, which does give you, if it's a leaf, it gives you a very flat bottom. For sunflowers that can work really well, because as we're working around the centre, push, turn, lift. Okay, all the way around, push, turn, lift. Okay, and when we're working around a wet centre, that will actually pick up some of the colours from the centre to add some shading into our petals. Okay, so it's a good idea really to work on a kind of a drill process where you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to practice these strokes and just do a whole line of them. And it's always important with this kind of thing that when you're stroking that you don't put the brush down and kind of flick it, because you'll get a raggedy end. So you want to push down, push, turn and lift up to a point. And I've made a bit of a mess there, but never mind. So push, turn, lift, push, turn, lift. It's kind of, if you think about that as you're painting, it will help you. Okay, so push, turn and lift. Okay, so just keep practicing those until you're happy with the way they look. And you know, they don't have to be perfect. If you're painting a sunflower, even if you look at the ones in nature, as much as nature is perfect, every sunflower petal will not look even and exactly the same as the one next to it. Okay, they will twist and turn. So if yours don't look absolutely perfect, then that's good enough. Okay, so with our loaded yellow brush, we put that to one side while we're loading our brush for our centre, and our scruffy brush, now I've got a bit too much black on there, so I'm going to come back and pick up a bit more brown, because I want more brown than black. The black does go a long way. Okay, so you want a lot of paint on there. You don't need to blend it on the scruffy brush, so you just tap the brush down like that. Okay, and just work around. You want a kind of roughly oval shape. Okay, so while that's wet, you come back with your yellow brush with your practice strokes and touch that brush onto, just touch it onto that centre so that it picks up some of that darker colour. Now obviously I am working on paper, so my centre will start to dry quicker than if I was working on a painted surface, but I'm still getting some streaks into those sunflower petals. And keep picking up paint, because as you're picking up that colour from the centre, it will kind of dirty your brush, so you want to keep picking up fresh paint as you go. And remember, we can always stroke over things that we're not entirely happy with. Okay, and that's one sunflower almost complete, but we're not happy with that because that last stroke I did doesn't really have enough of the brighter yellow in it. Okay, so that's the complete sunflower. Then we come back, repounce that centre just to tidy it up, so it covers all our strokes there. And I've got some, actually I've got a little bubble of paint there, let me just get rid of that. Okay, that's better. Okay, so that's our repounce centre. And as Donna always likes these to look like a chocolate donut. Okay, and then on the brown edge of that scruffy brush, just pick up a little touch of yellow ochre and then just tap in a C shape as a highlight. Okay, so that's a full flower. We also have some variations, so we will do a side view or half flower. That we don't worry about the donut shape, we'll just do a kind of oval of colour there, the black and brown. Same process, but this time we're only working on from along this edge of the flower. Oops. And then this one over there. Okay. So same thing applies. Come back and pick up some fresh paint and repounce that centre just to tidy it up. Again, a little bit of yellow ochre on the brown side of the brush and tap in your little highlight. Okay, so now we can switch to our larger brush. So it's a 3/4 flat here. Double load it with the brighter yellow and our dark green. And the dark green can be Thicket, which is probably one of our most popular greens, but you could use Hunter Green, Green Forest. We always use that for sunflowers. So we want to make a stem, and remember sunflowers do have thick stems in nature, but we don't want to paint them that way because it won't look so attractive. Okay, and your stems, as with all flowers, should never be completely straight. You want a bit of a curve in them. Now going back to our practice sheet, because I'm on a green surface, and my green paint's a bit darker, so it will show up on there. You could, if it was a very dark surface, you could put the lighter colour to the outside so it shows up better. But when we paint sunflower leaves, we kind of use a kite shape as a guide. Okay, and you'll notice in the recipe card guide that there are two different leaves. This is the first one. Okay, so we start on that angle, 1, 2, 3. There are blending strokes, they're very important, and you're just wiggling along in a line to a point. Okay, and again, always when you're coming to the end of a stroke, don't flick it, because it will tend to make it a raggedy stroke. So 1, 2, 3, there are starter strokes. Wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, and just slide to the tip, bring in the stem. Okay, that's one leaf. Now, there is another leaf in that pack, which is kind of like a moustache leaf. So you don't need the kite shape, but we're just going to use that line as a stem. So if we start here on the line and bring down one stroke. So if I do those first two, that you can see why we call it a moustache leaf. Okay, and this can be, if you're kind of struggling with those wiggles, keep working at it, because it will come eventually. But if that's getting a little bit too difficult for you, you can always do this leaf, because this is somewhat easier. Okay, and it will work well with the sunflowers as well. Also, this one can work with oil paint as well. Okay, if you don't want to do wiggles. Okay, so they're two different leaves. I'm going to stick with the wiggle leaf for now. And so let's put one here. So you can put your starter strokes in there. Oh, I picked up too much medium. So one. That's it. Wiggle that round. Bring in the stem. Okay. And you can also do some long slider leaves as well. That work well on sunflowers. And if you're going to, normally I would put more than 2 flowers in a design. I always do an odd number because it looks better. Okay, so let's do another leaf there. Okay, and then over here, wiggle that around, slide in the stem, and because we don't want them to look like bookends, let's put another one in here. Sometimes if you do 2 main elements in a design, it can look a little bit too even. Okay, and I don't like the first half of that leaf, so I'm going to pick up my paint and restructure it. 1, 2, 3, and I normally have a rule with when you're restroking things, if you do it 3 times, you're never going to be happy with it, so that's the time to stop. So just to balance that out, let's put a bud of sunflower bud in there. So again, using the smaller brush with the 2 shades of yellow on it. Our same petals there, but this time we're going to, instead of starting them flat, we want to start them at an angle. Okay, so we're going to push, slide, which is more of a slider leaf. Okay, and what we want to do is overlap a few of those. Okay, so we get this little overlapped cluster of those, and then we can pick up the green brush and add some little strokes on top of that. Bring the stem. So that gives us a little bit of balance to our design. Now the one thing you can use the script liner for in this instance from that starter pack is of course signing your name, which is always important, and I'll put my name on later because I haven't got my script liner to hand. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed that little video, and paint some sunflowers. They're happy and fun, and they always look sunny and make you feel good seeing sunny things. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.